This is a street in Tehran in the 1950s. People are wearing Western clothing, walking freely, and living in a functioning democracy. Today, that exact same country is locked in a bitter standoff with the United States, defined by economic sanctions and the constant threat of military strikes. The rivalry is frequently described as a clash of religious ideologies or nuclear ambitions. However, the United States maintains strategic partnerships with Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, nations with religious and military profiles that mirror Iran's. This raises the central question: how did a thriving, democratic nation transformed into America's most relentless Middle Eastern adversary? These modern tensions are the current chapter of a 70-year cycle of retaliation, where both nations view themselves as the victim of the other's aggression. This friction began with the control of a single resource. This is the sprawling industrial complex of the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company. In 1951, Iran was sitting on a massive reserve of oil, but the wealth being pumped out of the ground flowed to Great Britain. Between 1914 and 1950, the British government collected millions in taxes from Iranian oil. The Iranian people received a fraction, less than one-third of the revenue generated within their own borders. The democratically elected Prime Minister of Iran, Mohammad Mosaddegh, recognized this imbalance. He approached the British with a clear proposal: a 50-50 split of the profits. Britain refused. In response, Mossadegh nationalized Iran's oil industry. Stung by the loss of revenue and fearing a domino effect across other colonies, the British government turned to the United States. By framing Mossadegh's actions as a gateway for Soviet communism, they triggered American Cold War paranoia. The result was Operation Ajax. In 1953, the CIA dispatched operatives to Tehran, using bribes and fake news to stage riots and topple the government. Instead, they replaced Mossadegh with a pro-Western dictator, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. For Washington and London, this was a victory for global oil stability. For ordinary Iranians, it was the betrayal of their democracy. For the next 25 years, the Shah ruled Iran with an iron fist. He lived a luxurious lifestyle while his CIA-trained secret police, the Savak, systematically kidnapped and tortured any political opposition. By 1979, the public reached a breaking point. Millions of citizens flooded the streets, forcing the Shah to flee. In the vacuum he left behind, Ayatollah Khomeini seized power, transforming the state into a strictly anti-Western theocracy. The trigger for the next escalation came when the United States admitted the exiled Shah for cancer treatment. Iranians believed America was hiding the Shah to plot to settle a coup and restore him to the throne. Driven by that fear, Iranian students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. They took 52 Americans hostage and held them for 444 days. The two sides viewed the event through different lenses. The United States saw an unprovoked act of terrorism. Iranians believed they were preventing the destruction of their newly reclaimed sovereignty. The hostage crisis severed diplomatic ties. America sought retaliation, and in the 1980s, when Iraq invaded Iran, they provided open support to Saddam Hussein's military. Washington shared classified satellite intelligence and heavy weaponry with Iraq. Even as Saddam Hussein deployed chemical weapons against Iranian troops and civilians, the United States shielded Iraq from condemnation at the United Nations. Tehran drew a lasting conclusion from this era: that the United States is an imperialist power prioritizing regional dominance over human rights. Convinced they could never rely on international law for protection, Iran developed a nuclear program as a security deterrent. For the U.S. and its allies, an Iran armed with nuclear weapons poses a threat to the region's balance of power. A rare breakthrough happened in 2015 with the signing of the JCPOA. Iran agreed to halt its nuclear development in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. The compliance held until 2018, when President Trump abruptly withdrew the United States from the agreement. He imposed over 1,500 new economic sanctions, prompting Tehran to restart its nuclear enrichment program. For the Iranian leadership, the cancellation of the deal reinforced the lesson of 1953. Western agreements are traps designed to cripple their economy. The geopolitical deadlock is complete. Washington acts against a perceived rogue state, while Tehran defends against a perceived imperialist bully. Ordinary Iranian citizens live in the wreckage of this 70-year feud. They are trapped between the economic weight of foreign sanctions and the suppression of their own government. This 70-year loop of retaliation is fueled by acts of aggression justified by previous betrayals. Until one side steps back, the cycle will continue. This history leads to a difficult question.